My name is Phil Stewart. I'm the Senior Marketing Technologist here at Traffic and Funnels. I'm wearing an SM shirt. Sales Mentor is our other parent company. Got my SM water. I'm ready to talk basic hacking for hacking your competition. So just spend, 15, 20 minutes with y'all. I've got the Facebook event open. If any of you join live, wonderful, ask your questions below. Colin is in the room with me, not on mic. So as you have questions, please let me know. I'm just going to go over some basic funnel hacking techniques that I've created in the last 15, 16 months doing this. So I'm going to jump right into it. The first thing I'm going to do, one, track everything you're doing. So I usually open up a blank Google Doc. I always track what I'm doing first. So in this scenario, say I'm a web developer, right? I want to find out who else I'm competing with, or maybe I want to model something. So I'm going to look up, number one, the models or the content kings in that category, or category kings, as we might call them. For me, that would be people like Russell Brunson or Frank Kern and their systems, their softwares, how they do it. If I'm a photographer, I'm going to look up maybe Peter McKinnon or a local photographer. Or if I want to do destination people, I'm going to look up the best people for the best thing. If I'm a graphic designer, I'm going to look up Aaron Draplin. I'm going to look up people in my area. So as a freelancer, you have to know your space, know your market. So you also you're not always competing with everyone, but it's good to have models and mentors to look at, to study. The second thing I'm going to look up is look up my competitors. So if say I'm a web developer, I'm going to pull up maps. So let's say I work in, say I work in Columbia, Tennessee, for no apparent reason. Say I want to look up web designers here in this area. So if I'm looking up local competition, I'm going to look up actual web designers. So Muletown Digital, Crux and Design, looks like they're temporarily closed. There's another one, Conversion First Marketing. I'm going to look up specific people. If you're local and you want to stay local and just have local customers, so brick and mortar style, as a photographer, as a web designer, as a coach, consultant, whatever it is, you want to look up who's actually in your area. One, to network, like be nice, be kind, be healthy. But two, kind of look at what they're doing, study what they're doing. So that's kind of the first two things I look up. So find your models. Who are you going to emulate? Don't copy. Right? Don't copy exactly. I've seen 3 versions of the traffic secrets funnel from Russell Brunson in different markets, like almost a word for word and like style copy. One of them's in the financial space. I sent it to anyway, I'm connected to a couple of those guys. So yeah. And then I do a Google search. Google is one of the most powerful platforms we have access to. So as a web person, I'm going to go to Google first. If you're already connected to somebody in your space, call them, text them, Facebook them. If you're in a Facebook group, watch what others who are successful are doing, and then just make notes of who they are, because you're going to take that kind of your group. If you're familiar with the Dream 100 concept, so Danny Derrick's Dream 100 concept, Ryan Schwartz actually did a live in this group a few months ago, the state of marketing. He talked about having your top 5. So who do you want to work for? Whether it's Chris or Taylor, Russell Brunson, Dean Graziosi, Tony Robbins, who are the big names in your space that you want to do work for? Study what they're doing, become a student of what they're doing. So you don't copy it exactly, but they're obviously doing something right. So since I know, for instance, I know who I'm going to copy, I don't necessarily need to funnel hack everything Russell does, but I do. The second thing I'm going to do after I've studied who they are, I'm going to sign up for everything free they have. So for instance, how do you know what they're running that's free? First tool I go to, because a lot of us do this, go to Facebook Ads Library. This is a free resource out there from Facebook. You can look at ads that are currently running and kind of gauge how long they've been running. So for instance, if I want to get into the real estate market, I might look up somebody like Grant Cardone. He's very well known in the space. If you haven't heard of him, you should study him, the 10X reasons. So he's moved from sales training into real estate market. It's been a very interesting shift to watch. But I can actually look at and filter by when his ads were running. Very cool, because the longer something's been running, that means it's working, or they just like losing money. In Grant's space, I highly doubt he loves losing money, So something must be working. So for instance, if I scroll down the page, he's currently selling a workshop for a free webinar. I know this because I looked it up earlier. But I can see something that was launched in May. We're at the beginning of June. I keep scrolling down, and I'm in April. So something must be working if he's been running ads in April. All I'm going to do is click on an ad and say, get me access. Apparently I've already signed up for something because I funnel hack all of these people. Or say I want to sign up for something that Russell Brunson has. So I search Russell Brunson. Now, interesting with if you follow somebody, understand if you're following the company or following the person, because sometimes the brand is the person and that's they're expert in the industry. So for ClickFunnels, it's Russell Brunson. So currently he's running ads to yourfirstfunnel.com, which was designed, I believe, by Gus and Son, a great funnel hacker and great funnel designer if you want to follow somebody. I love sharing where I find stuff. It's just so fun. Yeah, so for instance, I'm going to click on his offer and I'm going to take it right to the page. So one, find who you're going to follow, copy it. So if I had a funnel doc open, I'd be copying all of these things around. And then I'm going to actually use a tool that is, you can see all my nice widgets. I use my Facebook pixel helper. I have it installed because when I build the sites, I check my pixels. I can actually look at pixel events that are firing. I can look at how many pixels are firing, which events are firing, and then I can look at go full page. There we go. Nice, cool trick. If you're a designer out there, you want to study, we can long scroll. Several people in our space have these long form sales pages. They're fine, but they are long. If you really want to look at the design of something, you have to look at the 30,000 foot view, right? I'm an architectural major. That is what I went to school for. You wouldn't know it now, but I like the aerial shots of a city, the aerial shots of a building plan, because they give the full picture. If you're only looking at one small detail of a site, I want to know what tools they're using, that's great. But if you want to look at everything they've got going on. So using tools like full page screen share, there's a couple funnel mapping sites that you can actually map out the ads you're finding, the web pages you're finding. And then when you sign up for the free thing, folder all of their emails. My email looks like a spam folder sometimes. I get emails from Dean Graziosi, Tony Robbins, Russell Brunson, DropFunnels, ClickFunnels, WordPress, because I'm a huge fan of WordPress, but Elementor, Salient, all of the builders I use, I also follow everything they're doing. I'm not going to be at their level, maybe making a SaaS product, but at least I'm following what they're doing as marketers. So as a freelancer, you want to become not only good at your craft, you want to be a good marketer who happens to be good at your craft. That's something I learned from Dane, our marketing director. Something he's taught me very well over the last year is I'm not just a good technician. I'm a marketer who happens to be good at tech stuff. So I've copied the full funnel page and it's long. Some of ours have been 4 to 5 pages. So, I mean, this is long stuff. If you really want to see a really long page, Sell Like Crazy book, Sabri Subri. If you fill out this page, you will be followed up with. And what's funny is now if you go look at my Facebook feed, well, I will not show, you're going to get hit with ads. That's okay. Make sure you have ad blocker turned off if you're studying something. I love it, but I want to see what ads are running. When I'm on YouTube, I'm clicking on almost every ad. I've saved 10 lead magnets this week just because I found it interesting and I wanted to look at their follow-up process. I'm not always interested at what the page looks like or what tools they're using. I'm also interested on the marketing side of it. So let's look at the actual page. We'll get a little granular here. This is fun. So I can accept Russell Brunson uses ClickFunnels. How do I know that? One, it's his software. So yeah, there's another way I do that. If I right click on his page, I can view page source or inspect. I'm actually going to click the inspect tool first because I want to show something. Usually I have this in a pop-out, but if you want to look at what the page looks like on mobile, there's this nice little icon here for mobile devices. Now, based on our analytics, I know the top people that view our websites here at TF and SM are actually on the iPhone X series. So I have an iPhone XR. So I actually just pulled up the site. I'm going to refresh the page. And now I'm looking at the website as it's looked on mobile without leaving the computer. I don't have to look at my phone. I can actually now do the full page screenshot like this and see how many scrolls it takes. So that's number one. Number two, as you can see right here on the side, the class, understand. So if you're in web design, understand, and if you're in marketing, understand basic HTML. So there's a div class here that says ClickFunnels.com. Great things to understand. If you're looking at the code, look at ClickFunnels, search for ClickFunnels, search for WP dash something, that usually means WordPress. I found one that was a Next.js site this morning. So there were a lot of interesting things you could find. Actually, the Muletown Digital, I'm going to pick on them for a little bit. We're going to look at them. I know they're not running Facebook ads. That means they're making all their business from referrals and local. So Google search is probably their biggest thing. Their site is beautiful. It's got a lot of SEO rich content. But if I look at the page source, so page source will just give me the code. I was scrolling through it. I was like, man, what are they using? Well, it's actually really easy. There's something called the WP-content folder. That is, if you build WordPress sites, that's a very knowledgeable thing to know. So WP-something usually means WordPress. Another tool you could use is builtwith.com. Sometimes this works, sometimes this doesn't. I actually have keywords set up in my account to fire emails to me if somebody starts, if they pull data in that's using a different tool. So I've worked for another industry, and a lot of the people in the industry, you actually use the same company to build their websites. It's a dealership based. So every time a new dealership signed up with them, I was notified. One, I want to know my competition. Two, I want to make sure the person who's building the stuff for me is giving us the best features. Check and balances. So I can actually look at everything installed on their website pretty much from here. They're using ActiveCampaign. Love ActiveCampaign. Crazy Ad, Google Analytics, Facebook pixel tracking, which we can verify using the Facebook pixel. So they actually have a free newsletter. I would sign up for it because I want to see their marketing. Also in Built With, I can see what widgets. Widgets are a pretty good idea of kind of what's installed. Monster Insights immediately tell me WordPress. WP Rocket, anything with the WP is WordPress. Yoast plugins, Font Awesome. So you can kind of get an idea of what tools are being used, how they're being used, and then you can hack it from there. If you want to take your hacking further, the next logical step is if they have a digital product, pull out your wallet. That's honestly the best thing, right? I mean, you want to pay for the low tickets. I have not paid over $100-something, but I've probably spent $500 to $600 on just low ticket products in the last year and a half. Myself, not my company, myself. I've bought Steve Larson's products. I've bought Russell Brunson's products. I bought all of Russell Brunson's books. I actually have 2 copies of them. Yeah, because I want to study what they're doing, not only in the digital space, but in the physical space. Because physical and digital, if you're doing good marketing, they're marrying the two. So if you're a web designer, if you're a funnel hacker, or if you're just in freelancing, understand who your content kings are, what they're using, what tools they're using, make notes of everything. I would spend probably an hour a day on it if you're just getting started. The more you study, the more you do, the more you're actually going to inherit their qualities and learn from it. If we are not constantly charging ourselves and studying what we're doing, I think we're losing out, especially in the internet marketing space. Stuff changes overnight. I've seen Facebook ads go down for everyone. Get on Twitter. Honestly, if you're a freelancer, get on Twitter, save some followed hashtags. So hashtag photographer, hashtag designer. Isitdown.com is a great resource to know the biggest tools out there. I knew AWS was down before they put out anything. I knew Zapier was down before they put out anything because I'm following all these people online who are also in my space. So understand who your content kings are. What content are they putting out? Is it 1 post a day, 2 posts a day, 3 posts a day? How are they doing their organic versus ads? So how long have the ads been running for? So I can go with Russell, and I think I scrolled down to April, and he's been running the same book ads since he launched Traffic Secrets back in early 2019. Some of the very same ads are running. There is something working. Obviously, just clicking on an ad, there's more to that. You have to look at the copy, the follow-up. The creative is a massive piece to that. Some creative works with ads, some doesn't work with organic, and vice versa. So understanding the tools, understanding what their process is, and you can learn all of this without spending a dime. That's the fun part. I have fun doing it. Hopefully you see that. I pulled up Sabri Subri. He's got a great follow-up sequence. If you actually get hit with an ad from him and you go down to the bottom of his page, this is you can see my scroll bar here. This is a long page. I could scroll for a long time. But at the bottom is a checkout form. It is a WordPress site with very bad speeds, actually. Last tool I'm going to show you is actually checking page speed. So Google, if you just search Google page speed, we can actually look up more code that is being used on somebody's site. So I'm going to pick on Sabri Subri for a second. I'm going to copy that link in, and I'm going to paste it. I'm not giving away any of my pages because I don't want to give away what we've been working on. We're working on a lot of cool stuff here at EW. So the core vitals have failed. Ooh, yeah, hate to see it. Anyway, you can actually look at the tools he's using, the images size. So what are they doing right? Obviously, this page is working. So it's not all about making the fastest page, the prettiest page. Sometimes ugly pages convert. It happens. But there is something, so obviously this page is converting because the copy and the messaging is hitting. Our job as marketers, at least from my seat, and as a freelancer, is to make a big, bold promise and then definitely fulfill on it. Make sure you're fulfilling on everything you're promising. Sabri Subri is doing that. 16 performance on Google Mobile. Ugh. My lowest one was maybe 40. The goal was 40 plus. You want to be in the 80s to 90s with Google. Google's not the only page speed, but it's definitely the free one that's out there. And Google is you have to adhere to Google assets. So the largest piece of content took 14 seconds to load. Not great, but I can now look at the JavaScript he's running. I can look at off-screen images and actually test stuff. If you are in the web dev side, this is a great way to understand CSS and copy CSS code to style it for yourself. Great way to study it is right here in the page speed or in the inspector. Coming up on June 24th at 4 p.m., one of our coaches that people pay thousands of dollars to actually hear from, she is the queen of systems, Tiffany. She's actually going to be doing something for scaling your freelancer business past 10K a month. That sounds like a lot of money, but honestly, if you're doing it right, that is not a lot. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so you see this. Super excited for it. Colin has set all of this up. It's going to be awesome. Tiffany is a wonderful person. Our clients love her, and she's been able to help increase the freelancing business that we have brought in tenfold. We've heard nothing but great things from what she's teaching. Her coaching calls are always full of people, full of questions. So make sure you keep an eye on this group. And Colin will probably drop a link here in this live. So to wrap up, if you've joined me on the replay, please hit hashtag replay. Give me your top 2 things you pulled away from this. And then also top 2 things, but also tell me the industry you're in, because we want to make sure we're creating content for your type of freelancing. I'm very much in the web dev space, but I honestly know that doesn't speak to everyone. So hit me up with your industry and the top 2 things you took away. Be on the lookout for a link from Traffic and Funnels or from Colin. Hit up Tiffany's live stream on scaling your freelancer business past 10K a month, June 24th at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. Hope you all have a great day.